One of these could keep you alive far longer than you'd ever expect. Another wouldn't even give your brain enough time to realize you were gone. Today, we're ranking every type of black hole by exactly one thing: how fast it kills you if you fall in. But here's the rule: we're only ranking what happens inside the black hole itself. What's lurking around some of them is a different story. Stay till the end for that one. 5 ways to fall, 5 very different deaths. And the biggest one on this list isn't the fastest. It might be the slowest thing that's ever happened to a human being. Let's rank them. Take one of the largest known supermassive black holes. Objects like TON 618, an estimated 66 billion solar masses. Here's what nobody expects. The bigger the black hole, the gentler the fall. The event horizon grows faster than the tidal forces do. By the time you reach the boundary, the difference in gravity between your head and your feet is surprisingly small. You wouldn't feel torn apart. You don't notice anything. You'd cross the horizon without even a flash. No wall, no warning. Outside a black hole, you can choose where to go next. Inside the event horizon, that choice disappears. Reaching the singularity becomes as unavoidable as reaching tomorrow. What you'd actually see, the stars ahead of you would compress into a bright ring, an Einstein ring, bent by gravity into a glowing circle. Behind you, the universe would appear increasingly distorted, warped into strange arcs and rings. What an outside observer sees. Here's the strange part. From your perspective, you keep falling, normally the whole way. But to someone watching from Earth, you'd appear to freeze at the edge forever. Your light stretching, dimming, reddening, until you fade from view entirely. From your perspective, you keep falling. From theirs, you never seem to cross at all. Around the largest known supermassive black holes, you'd survive significantly longer after crossing the horizon than you would in a stellar mass black hole. Common myth: people assume you'd hit some kind of solid barrier at the event horizon. You wouldn't. There's nothing to hit. It's not a wall. It's a point of no return that looks like empty space. Drop down in size, and the mercy disappears fast. Intermediate black holes, a few hundred to a few 100,000 solar masses, the kind astronomers suspect hide in dense star clusters, have a much smaller event horizon. Imagine standing on a cliff where your feet weigh 1,000 times more than your head. That's what this feels like. If you look down right now, the light from your own feet would already be warped beyond recognition. Now you definitely notice. Every tissue in your body begins stretching under different amounts of gravity. Muscles, skeleton, organs, all pulling apart at different rates over the course of several minutes. Common myth: some assume firing rockets or thrusters could slow this down. They can't. No engine humans have ever built produces anywhere near the thrust needed to fight a gravity gradient like this. And the next one down doesn't even give minutes. The most common black hole in the universe, born from a dying, collapsing star, 5 to 20 times the mass of our sun, and small enough that the violence starts almost immediately, before or very shortly after you cross the event horizon. Depending on the black hole's exact mass, your body doesn't stay a body. Astronomers have an actual term for this: spaghettification. The only time we'll use that word, because after this, it gets worse. A real example: Cygnus X1, one of the first black holes ever confirmed. Roughly 21 times the mass of our sun, actively pulling material from a companion star right now, tens of thousands of light years away. This is the one people picture when they imagine falling into a black hole. They're right to be afraid of this specific one. We've reached the black holes people actually know exist. The next two, they barely belong in reality. Now it gets theoretical. These probably don't exist today. No primordial black hole has ever been confirmed. But if a tiny one did, formed not from a dying star, but from extreme density right after the Big Bang, some models suggest it could be no bigger than an atom, yet weigh as much as a mountain. Now there isn't even time to fall. Tidal forces this extreme would overwhelm chemical bonds, then atomic structures themselves, almost immediately. Common myth: primordial black holes are sometimes described as a guaranteed doomsday object floating through space, waiting to swallow planets. In reality, they remain one of the more compelling, unproven ideas in cosmology. This one's purely theoretical, but if physics allows it to exist, a micro black hole potentially created for a fraction of a second in a particle collider. Imagine a black hole so tiny it lifts for less than the blink of an eye. Before gravity has time to pull you anywhere, the hole itself explodes away in an intense burst of radiation, a process called Hawking radiation. Now, physics barely has time to notice you existed. It would happen on a scale far too fast for a human nervous system to register it. You'd cease to exist faster than a single neuron can fire. Because everything we just ranked assumes one thing: a quiet black hole, one that isn't actively feeding. Some of the brightest black holes in the universe aren't quiet at all. Matter spirals inward, particles collide. Temperatures climb past 10 million degrees. Then comes the radiation. X-rays, gamma rays. Intense enough to kill a human long before you ever reach the event horizon, depending on your approach. Which means the safest, slowest black hole on our list, the one that would let you drift, alive and aware, for far longer than any other, could actually be the fastest killer of all. Not from gravity, from what's orbiting it. The terrifying part was never done. It's how long the universe can give you to understand that you already can't escape. Remember the promise at the beginning? One black hole wouldn't even give your brain time to realize what happened. Turns out, the deadliest part of a real black hole isn't even the black hole itself. The stars behind you begin bending into glowing rings. The universe compresses into a shrinking circle behind your back. And through all of it, you wouldn't hear a single thing. Space carries no sound at all. You have to choose one. No escape. Which black hole gives you the best chance, and why? I'll be reading the smartest answers. Next time, we're ranking the deadliest objects in the universe that aren't black holes at all.